Filler, a name that strikes fear into the hearts of classic car enthusiasts the world over. In this video, we'll put to rest some filler myths and share some filler tips to put a pin in the controversial story of this very important automotive tool. And toward the end of the video, we're going to give you a full filler tutorial, so stick around for that.
First, a little history lesson. Filler in its earliest form was actually lead, also known as body solder at the time. This would be melted down to flow into any dents and seams to smooth and repair the final surface. This technique required a patient and talented technician. Then, during the 1950s, polyester resin-based body fillers were introduced to the market. These innovative products required less skill for application and posed fewer health risks to technicians compared to lead. Soon, body filler began to grow in popularity due to its easy application and quality finish. But despite this, numerous professional repair shops hesitated to adopt it, viewing it as a tool suited for less skilled body technicians who lack the artistry and craftsmanship of metal finishing. Filler technology has come in leaps and bounds since then. In this day and age, it is used by automotive professionals across the globe and is now a foundational collision and bodywork repair tool.
So why, after all these years of quality work, do we still see the word filler and frown? Is it because of the snobbery of some technicians from the 50s? No, it's for the simple reason that filler has been used to cover up some proper bodywork disasters. And guess where you shouldn't be using filler? Proper bodywork disasters.
It is good advice before you buy a vintage vehicle to check for improper use of filler. But what is improper use of filler? Filling over rust. Never use filler on rust. Not only will it look rubbish and push through all your hard work in no time, all you're doing is covering up a bigger problem.
This one had loads of filler in it, and not for the right reasons. As you can see, she was rusty, and then what somebody did is just banged it in, filled it with filler over the whole thing. And what's happening, because it was rusty to start with, the rust is creeping underneath the filler, continuing to rust out the metal behind, and also rusting out the metal further in your car, so that's a no-no. Cut it out, put new metal in.
It may feel like a quick fix for a small blemish, but there is only one way to fix rust. Cut it out. Structural repairs. Filler has absolutely no structural value whatsoever. Do not slap it on your van hoping it will hold it together. It will not. Guess what you do in these two situations? You replace the metal. Whacking in a brand new panel or welding in a new bit of metal is the only way to solve these problems. Filler is not going to help you out. So, where do you use filler? Small holes, dents, and to smooth out panels. It's that simple. This is what filler was made for. So now we know what and what not to do with filler. Let's get down to the tutorial.
Jono here is going to run you through the tips and tricks of how to get the most out of your filler. We're going to do a little tutorial about how to use a couple of U-POL products actually. We're going to go through Dolphin Glaze, thicker, deep repair, an honourable mention, U-POL System 20. We're also just going to show you how to use your Tiger Seal to finish up those seams.
Well, let's start with the most important thing, prep.
Prep.
Most of your panels, when they come, they've usually got some kind of finish on them to protect them from rust. Your filler will not stick to that. This panel is galvanised, and again, very smooth, but your filler's going to have trouble sticking on it. So we'll have to sand it all down with about an 80 grit, so you get that nice adhesion to it, and it won't pop off. So let's start cleaning.
What's next, Jono?
Sanding. You can see the result you get straight away. This is where a lot of people will make a mistake and they won't do grease. The thing is, if you don't prep it and you fill it, it'll look fantastic when you're done, but you know, 6 months down the road it might start pulling away and you'll be doing it again. We're going to start with a bit of Dolphin. This is more of a personal preference or something that I've come to do after many years of doing it. But you know, again, you need to make sure it's dust free and clean, because what the dust will do, if you go straight in with dust, it's very much like kneading dough. You put flour down to stop it sticking. The dust does exactly the same to your filler. Right, bit of Dolphin, don't be scared. As you can see, very thin, and because of that, you don't get bubbles and stuff like that in it. Dust and bits are your enemy. You'll just keep mixing it until you can't see any streaks. It's all a very uniform colour. Do remember, if you're doing this on a warm day, it will go off really fast. Put it into those. Piece of sandpaper. Drop it in the groove, drag it down. Just as long as you've got something to follow every time. Wear a mask. Just just going to take off all the high bits, ready for my next coat of filler.
Full send.
Okay. There's something going on down here.
Let me grab this, hang on. Let's have a look.
I can feel it. There's a dip and a high spot there and there. This little kid is a body file. This will highlight all your high spots. You can see high, a little bit. So there's a low in there basically. Just lose a little bit. Try and share it out a bit. So what we're going to do now is blow the panel off, get rid of the dust, like we said before. Right, on to the easy one. Don't want any chance of the filler not bonding. Same deal, only you're dealing with something that's a little bit thicker. And this little dent, we know there's a dent right there. In order to lose it, you're probably going to be filling from here to here. We're not putting a massive depth of filler in it. Most of this is going to be on the floor when we're finished. And just about do that one for the minute. I've really almost run out of that. Look, I'm going to get the other one sorted out and then we're going to let it set and we'll start knocking it back. Dolphin glaze time. This is what it's actually for. Pinholes. Pinholes?
Yeah.
Tiny ones. All over the place. Little edges there, they're low, they've got, and this is what's going to fill all those in. And then I'm going to put a coat literally over the whole thing, almost like a coat of primer. And I'll sand that down and then it's ready for priming. If we've done our job right, 50% of what we put on this panel, we're wearing.
Well, John's wearing, he turned into a snowman.
I'm wearing, and the floor, of course. So, not a massive depth of filler
There you go.
in the wing, anywhere. Even on its deepest point, which is probably around here, no problems. Proper use of filler. Only one thing left to do, the tiger seal. I'm only going to do one line today because I've still got some bits to do on the other one, but we'll show you the idea. Full injection. Doesn't matter if you get too much, okay. All the way in there. Now, trusty finger, go one way and then go t'other way, just in case it didn't quite get where you wanted it to be. It's all about the touch, you see. There we go, more there. Beautiful. This is where our trusty degreaser comes back in. Get a nice soft pad, not all scrunch up like that. So you want it flat. Just wipe it off. And what that'll do is just leave what you want where you want it.
The groove.
Get your finger, run it down again just to make sure you haven't put any marks or anything in it. And you're done. Yeah, baby.
Any closing remarks, Jono?
Have a go at home. What's the worst going to happen? Have a play, you might enjoy it.
You might enjoy it. Everyone likes a bit of filling. So there you go, guys. That is the do's, the don'ts, the what's, the whys of filler.
It's not your enemy.
It's not your enemy. It's an essential bit of kit that you can use, add to your arsenal, so you can do stuff like this.
We've not covered up any rust. We've cut the metal out, we've put new metal in, but because the panels aren't quite as straight as we'd like them to be, we've had to use the filler to smooth them out.
That's what it's there for.
Perfect. That's what it's designed for.
Bosh.
Job done.
Oh, that was
That was shit work.
okay.
Bosh. Job done.